Printer can print up to 10 lines per second. Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful. This printer can print up to 10 lines per second. This printer can print up to 10 lines per second.
Okay, welcome to lesson 27. I'm going to call this banner. Okay, so we're going to build this banner, and you can see the text scrolling across the screen. And so we're kind of animating the text. We're changing its position. And so let's get started here. Pause this and copy down the style here at your CSS. And here's a little bit of HTML. So after you copy that, I'm going to have you copy a tiny bit of JavaScript, and then we'll get started writing some functions. Okay, so hopefully you've copied the CSS and the little bit of HTML, and now I want you to copy. Let me go to a different version of this file. There we go. So now I want you to copy this text. Hold off on the text a second. I want to explain that, but copy these variables down here. The text is an array. You can see the square bracket here. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little short sentences. You don't need to do 7. You could do 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, whatever you want to do. And you could write anything you want in there, okay? Go ahead and copy this JavaScript, the text, and the other variables, and we'll start writing some functions. Okay, we're going to write a function called run banner, function run banner. And the first thing we're going to do, set text index. The first thing we're going to do in that function is call another function, which we haven't written yet. So we'll get to that in a second. The second thing we're going to do is see this x position variable we created. We're going to increment that, meaning we're going to add 1 to it. And then we need to grab the actual text, which is in the banner. So banner style left equals x position. That's the position of the text. And then remember we have to add pixels to that, px. Okay. And then we need to set the text of the banner. Banner dot inner text equals text. That's our text array. And remember, when in an array, we need to use an index to identify which piece of the array we want to use, which element in the array. So each sentence is an element. All right, and we need the text index for that. So I know this is a little starting to look a little hairy, but if you stare at it long enough, I think you'll get it. And then we need to, since we're animating here, we need to kind of call run banner periodically. Set timeout. And what are we calling? We're calling the same function that we are in. We are looping. And let's call it every 50 milliseconds. And get rid of this space there. Okay, we need to build this other function that we're calling here called set text index. So function set text index. All right, so we need an if statement. We are going to test x position and find out if it exceeds the window inner widths. And if it does, we're going to set x position to 0 because it needs to restart. X position equals 0. The other thing we need to do is, remember, but basically what we're saying is that the text is going past the edge, and so we need to select the next sentence. In other words, we need to select the next index in this text array. So all we need to do there is increment the text index. So text index plus plus. So we need to test one other thing here. If text index exceeds text length -1, then text indexed equals 0. Okay. And we need to do one other thing here. We wrote two functions. Now we need to call this run banner, because nothing will happen unless we call run banner. So run banner. Now let's see if we made any mistakes. So save that and open this banner. And text is not moving, so we have a mistake somewhere. And let's see if our console tells us, which is view developer JavaScript console. It does, gives us a message. It says syntax error, missing close parentheses after argument list, line 51. All right, let's look at that. Where's line 51? Right here. Oh, okay, beautiful. See what happened there? We got this semicolon in there and it's confused about that. Save that. Let's make this a little bigger. There it goes. Running slow. Let's speed it up. So I've got run banner 50 milliseconds right here. Set timeout, run banner 50 milliseconds. There we go. Okay, so let's speed that up. And the way we speed it up, this is 50 milliseconds. Let's do half that, 25 milliseconds. Save that. There we go. That's much better. And you could even do it faster than that. Okay, so there's our banner. Okay, so let me explain some of the code here. Let me explain this function, run banner. Okay, run banner. This is kind of our little animation loop, I guess you could call it. In fact, that might be a good name for the function, animation loop. So the first thing we do is we call this function down here because we have to know which text we're going to be incrementing. And we have to test the text because we might be changing the text. So the first thing we test is, where is the text? In other words, what is the X position of the text? And if it's exceeded the window, if it's gone past that window edge, then we need to set the new position at 0 and set new text. In other words, whatever sentence we are on, and when I say sentence, I mean we have a text array of sentences here. Whichever sentence we are on, go to the next one. That's what happens when we increment the index. Because remember, that's how we choose an element in an array, through the index. So an index that's one higher is the next element in the array. Okay, so we're doing that. So also what's happening in set text index is we are finding out if we're at the last index in the array. And the last index in the array is text length -1. So in this case, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements. And so we're saying 7 elements -1 is 6. Is the text index greater than 6? And if it is, that means we're on the 7th or last element. In that case, reset the text index to 0. In other words, start over. Start at the first sentence, the first element in the text array. Okay? So that's set text index. Okay, going here. What else is happening in run banner? Well, first thing we're doing is basically just incrementing the position of the text. That's our animation, okay? So every time we loop through this, the X position increases. So it's moving to the left because our X position defines where that banner is from the left margin. So banner style left, X position plus pixel. So we're basically telling with JavaScript, we're saying set the left portion of that text, the left edge of that text at whatever X position is, pixels from the left edge, okay? And then we are actually inserting the text into the banner HTML element, which is up here, this paragraph. So we're inserting the text into the banner paragraph. And this is, of course, the text is our array, and this is the index of the array. That's how we choose which sentence. And then down here, we're just saying every 25 seconds, loop or run banner again. Every 25 milliseconds, run banner again. So that's an animation loop. You notice here, there we go. We got two. This is pushing the text on 2 different lines. Easy way to fix that. Well, we can have a wider screen here. Or what we can do is just make smaller text here. So banner font size is 1.5. I could change that to 1.2. Save that. Okay, it's much smaller. Okay, so kind of complex code. We got a couple functions here we had to write. And one function is calling another function, and it's also looping. So I understand if it looks a little complex, but stare at that for a while until you understand it. And this is a very good program to kind of get a deeper knowledge of how JavaScript can work. Okay, so what would I do here? I would definitely play with some different fonts, different background colors, maybe a different height for the contain banner tag there. maybe different font sizes, different colors, etc. Play with the different speeds, play with different text in the text array. That's probably a different speed of the set timeout. Okay, have fun with that. This is a very good learning experience here. And thanks for joining me. I will see you in lesson 28.